Hello guys, my name's Dean and welcome to my spoiler review and discussion of Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1. So I just finished filming up my review for my non-spoiler review for this movie, and I had also mentioned in that review, I'm sorry, I'm being a little quieter. I've got family sleeping and I want to keep it down so they don't wake up. With that being said, final warning, this is a spoiler review, so get out of here if you haven't seen it. And I'd mentioned in that review I had one big issue with the movie, and I'll just come out straight with you. It's Ilsa's death. I thought it was unearned and unnecessary. And unnecessary to a point where I actually think it's a really decent idea to kill off this character, but not the way it was done. And it was also far too early, and the character had far too little time to shine in this movie. This is going to be far less structured, a bit more rambly. I mean, all of my reviews are rambly, but this one will probably be even more as I kind of process through stuff. I think for a movie that is putting the audience first, cares about the franchise, cares about the characters, I'm left with a bunch of questions, and it makes me want to see part 2 because a part of me wonders, is this character actually dead? How they filmed it makes you think very heavily that the character is dead. Villain kills her. It'd be very hard to explain how you had this whole thing planned from the get-go. And I had mentioned in the main review that I feel like this weakens Fallout and in some of the previous movies. Because after Mission Impossible 3, one of the things you really want for Ethan is, Ethan to be able to settle down, get his happiness. Not settle down per se, but get his happiness with someone. He was very happy in 3. But obviously he couldn't remain with her. And that was explored in 4 and 5 and then finally comes to a spearhead in 6. And it felt like the whole point of 6 was so we could end that arc. Be like, okay, look, Julia is happy, but Ethan needs to be happy as well. And so that's what I felt like. That's what the meaning of Fallout was. It was like, hey, there's this other chick that you really like and likes you, it seems like, and maybe we could that seemed to be the way they were pushing the story. It was a very personal story, Fallout. And an hour into this movie, you kill off that character. And they had maybe, before the final fight, 5 minutes of screen time, 4 minutes of screen time. I don't know if I like that. Don't get me wrong, the final fight was awesome. Sweet character. And again, I don't have an issue killing off this character, but again, 4 minutes of screen time in the whole movie, and then you kill off the character, and the whole point of your previous movie was to get this character to a point where her and Ethan can have a relationship. It just feels very forced, and also makes me wonder, okay, is it a scheduling conflict? That's really the biggest question I had is, did she not want to be in part 2? And they're like, oh, this is our way to get an emotional punch out of the audience. But really all it did was it pissed me off, because this is something that you can use in 8, or if you did a 9th, and you give me an emotional punch. But it was just far too quick. Also with one of your coolest characters. And after the death of the character, I absolutely thought Grace was a phenomenal character. It just clever and fun and great charisma. But I was pissed off at Grace in the second half of the movie because it's like, you're the reason Ilsa's dead. If you didn't quit running away and you just trusted the guy who's been right this entire time, and Ethan, Ilsa wouldn't be dead. So now I don't like her. And then Ethan's like it, and the whole crew are like, it's not your fault, or she saved you. I get that, and it's all admirable and all, but I'm pissed off. And if you're Ethan, I think you'd be far more pissed off than he was in the movie. That really, really bothered me. And first impressions are all, when I'm sitting in a movie and all I'm thinking of is, that doesn't feel right. You're messing up. And on my second viewing, I felt the exact same way. It's a great movie. And it's a testament to how good of the movie is that I can be so pissed off at something and still love it. I do have a theory. And I was trying to see if anyone else had this idea. And I explained it to my buddy, and I'm looking everywhere, and I saw an article that had kind of a similar idea to how I was thinking of, okay, Luther says you gotta start thinking cold and factual and like the entity to beat it. And the entity knows that what's most important to Ethan. And really, who is the most important to Ethan? It probably goes Ilsa, then it would go Luther, and then probably Benji, but loves them all. But the person who means most to him is clearly, it's Ilsa. So this is my kind of one glimmer of hope, is that Ethan and Ilsa kind of devised a plan in which she will die in a way that the entity just believes it. And it would be by the hands of the entity's human, man, Gabriel. And I think it would actually kind of fall in line with the way in which they continue to treat Grace. And I'm rambling here, and I apologize. I think there's a potential that they're going to try and pull a one over on the audience, as all of the Mission Impossibles really have. And this Mission Impossible really didn't do it. So that's why I feel like this might be the one thing. I'm pissed off because the likelihood is this character's dead, and I think they did this character so dirty. I mean, very dirty. Even if this character in scheduling conflicts and all that, I still think it's just poorly executed. But if the character's alive, I think your way is, she was killed with these knives that were on this table. How did those knives get on the table? I don't know, and I don't remember seeing them put onto the table. But I wonder if, and this is a cop-out, but this would kind of fit the Mission Impossible formula, that it was planned from the get-go that Ethan was going to get Ilsa killed. And they predicted how, the Benji's comms being redone, and they were just acting the whole time and selling it. You see where I'm getting at? This is kind of a cop-out, but I could see them saying those all planned. Ethan predicted all of that. And it's some kind of like switchblade where the knife goes into the blade. And they had to make Grace believe that Ilsa was dead as well. I could see them pulling that. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I kind of hope they do. It's terrible writing, but kind of predict that. Probably not going to happen. That's kind of what I want to happen, but it's kind of terrible writing. However, if that doesn't happen, I think your next best thing is, and likely what they will do is have more scenes between Ethan and Ilsa, trying to flesh out their relationship and their story, because I'd find it very hard to believe that they're just gonna be like, oh yeah, she died, move on. Especially when it's one of Christopher McQuarrie's characters that he created in Rogue Nation. I'll be honest with you, it rubbed me the wrong way, because again, I think it hurts Rogue Nation, because you kill off this character, but when your point of Fallout is the two of them, in many ways, either getting together or letting go of Julia for this, and remember, at the end of the movie, it's very clear. It's, like, I'm happy, yada yada yada, and they're in the hospital tent, and then immediately in walks Ilsa. And throughout the beginning of this movie, they're super close. So I just think it wasn't a fan of the way it was handled, but I'm really curious to see if they have a plot twist, and in which case I'll just go, A, I think I predicted it, but B, I was pissed off for the moment, but I think if they did that, I'd suddenly be happy and love this movie. But if they don't do that character justice, I'm going to be like, man, that was disappointing. So that's my big rant. My big negative. I didn't like how they killed the character. Don't necessarily just like that they killed the character, but how they did it. And my little subtle prediction that maybe the character's still alive and it's one of Ethan's master plans, which would be really cool in part 2. I'm trying to think how it would be announced in the movie. Like what is it, Deus Ex Machina, where it's like the how did that happen? The savior comes. If it's right, in 2 years, or in a year, I'm putting this in the next review and saying I was right. And I'm hoping that might be the case, but at least do the character justice, and considering how in touch Christopher McQuarrie has been, I do find it hard to not see him do this character justice. With that being said, as for the rest of the movie, which I am extremely positive about, I thought the villain was great. The AI is really cool. I think the AI and the whole submarine, and great introduction to the movie. Kind of setting the stakes. I like that they did the whole nuke thing. It's like, we're doing nukes again, but then it's not actually a nuke. It's just building up a personality for this AI. The whole cast is great. Again, Grace is phenomenal. I was pissed off with her in the second half of the movie because she got a character I really liked killed, but still a great character. And I don't want to take away from her phenomenal performance. The action is it is incredible. The Rome chase sequence, I mean, just on the edge of my seat, it just continues and continues, and they do just one more thing. You start off, you're in the car, and the doors get knocked off. So then you're riding around Rome in a car with no doors. And then you're in that little Fiat thing, a little yellow car. And then, you've got Paris, the character played by Pom Klementieff, whatever, chasing them throughout Rome, and then you have the police chasing after them, and you've got those two CIA characters, military marine characters chasing after them. It's just fascinating. It's fun. And then then Ethan's stuck and there's a train coming. It's just one more thing. As the story progresses, I enjoyed the human part of the AI, the villain. I thought he was interesting. Do we need to do the flashback to Ethan's past? I don't think so at all. But I do think that's vital. And the reason I think that's vital is if they were to bring Ilsa back, that would be the way in which you'd know that Ethan would know he's going to go after the person I care about. So I need to make sure that it's the AI 100% buys that Ilsa's dead. And the way that would be the entity's right-hand man stabbing her. But maybe the knife kind of goes into the blade, or she has some vest on, whatever the case, and you know, she has a pill that makes her heart rate drop, whatever the case. I don't know. Or she's just literally just dead, which is what you saw in the film. I don't know. But I don't know if we need to see Ethan's past 7 movies in. I don't particularly care, but I don't think it's necessary. You have the train sequence. So that was the one thing I really liked. Is we've seen the motorcycle jump, which is spectacular. It's awesome, but it's a quick sequence, and I don't think it matches up to some of the stunts in Fallout. It doesn't need to. It's great on its own. But the train sequence is just so stupid. It's so great. It's already suspenseful, but then you have Tom Cruise having, you know, crashing into it on a helicopter or in a parachute. Then you have him having a fist fight on top, and then you have the derailing section, and it's like just 1 train car. Oh wait, no, 2 train cars. Oh, 3 train cars. Oh, 4 train cars, and it just keeps going, and it's fun. And that's what I'm saying. It's a quality action movie. I don't think it's perfect, but it's one of those things where it just doesn't need to be, because it's fun. It puts a smile on your face outside of one thing. It bothers me because it hurts Fallout, which is probably my favorite action movie of all time. But maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm being petty and stupid. I've only seen half of the movie in part 1. So I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm not going to be that overly dramatic person, even though I have been. And I'm going to finish the movie. Watch the movie if you haven't. But if you're watching spoiler review, of course you have. I don't know why I'm saying that. Good times. Good time at the movie. Watch it in 4DX. Even if you saw the movie, watch it again. You know, I'm going to watch it a 3rd time, I think on Sunday, which I'm super excited about. My brother hasn't seen it, so I'm going to watch it with him. It's great. And one thing it did do, even though, well, it just made me excited to go to the movies. I'm excited that I know I can, for the most part, go to Mission Impossible 8 and have a great time. It's just quality action. Please, with the advertising, quit showing me so much. And I think there's probably a lot of other stuff I haven't talked about. Again, not political. That's something I mentioned in the non-spoiler review. I just appreciate that. Just give me a fun 2 hours without preaching at me. Is it really, like, I'm paying $22 a ticket. And I mean that, like, genuinely. That's a fair bit of money. If I'm paying $22 to watch your movie, don't preach at me. Especially when I guarantee I'm significantly more moral than all of you. Look, come on. And this movie doesn't preach. It's just, have some fun. Here's the book to Scientology. Kidding. Score. Lorne Balfe. It's phenomenal. I'm not sure what else he's done, but he did a fantastic job with Fallout, and he did, again, a fantastic job with this movie. The train derailment sequence is, I think, CG, but they do such a good job making the fight on the train and the actual train flying off, which we know are real, look artistic, that when we have this train derailment sequence, it just feels true, and it feels like there's no CG, even though I think it almost is entirely. I just think Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise are doing movies right. And that's why I think they couldn't have looked over that giant gap in the movie in Elsa's death. It's too in touch to be so out of touch. I could be wrong. It serves a purpose to kill the character, and that's why I'm saying I don't disagree with the choice. I just disagree in the way that it was done. Handled. I thought it was great. I'm really looking forward to Dead Reckoning Part 2. This turned into a full-blown rant and discussion for however long this has been. But I really had fun. I just love movies. And that was my thing. Like, I put up my Snapchat story. I was like, man, I just love movies. I just have a good time after a movie like this. And again, there aren't many movies that make me want to see it 3 times. I'll probably see it one more time before it gets out of theaters. I'll try and watch it probably after Oppenheimer. Hopefully it comes to IMAX real quick. I'd like to see it in IMAX on the biggest screen possible. But yeah, fun times. Thank you for watching. I'm going to try and post a little bit more often. And take care. Have a good one.